So I accidentally made a music video using Seedance 2.0. Go ahead and check out this clip really quick.
Ocean air and the Carolina breeze, boards in the back, sand everywhere. Clocked in late, but we didn't care. Just another day down there. Chips in a jar, cash in our jeans, living off drinks and broken dreams, laughing loud like we're never leaving.
All right, so let me explain exactly what I mean here. A few days ago, I went down this rabbit hole just trying to understand some of the features inside of Dreamina Seedance 2.0. And if you didn't know already, Dreamina is from ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. But we all know about the normal image to video workflow. That part is obvious, but they also allow other kind of references when using Omni Reference. And honestly, that's where things started to get interesting. So I set out to understand their other options much more. And that process is what actually led me to making a music video. So if you're new here, I'm Khalil from AI for Real Life, where I jump in, I test the newest models and find the real techniques and figure out what actually can help take your workflow to the next level. All right, let's go ahead and dive in and show you exactly what happened here. So for this video, I'm using the Dreamina platform. And they say that the Dreamina platform is the most comprehensive and optimized for using this model, so I wanted to test it out. And specifically, within the platform, I wanted to test AI video, Dreamina Seedance 2.0, and Omni Reference. And that last part really matters because Omni Reference is where a lot of the magic happens. Let's look at it real quick. See, this allows you to feed the model multiple assets, like characters, locations, images, video references, audio references, and all kinds of things that'll help guide the generation. And honestly, once you understand that, it changes how you think about this tool. Now, one thing I learned right away is that if you're using character references, sometimes face-heavy images can get blocked or become really tricky. But what worked really well for me was to use a simple full-body pose sheet, like the front angle, side angle, back angle, and pretty clean and straightforward. And that seemed to pass much easier and get me in the door. So just know that going in. It could save you a lot of headaches. It took me a little bit of testing and some research to figure this out. So when starting off in this, now everybody knows the traditional use case for this, right? Image to video. It's very standard with everything that we do. You take a still image, you animate it, you add movement. Yeah, it works. It's still very useful. It's still very strong. But that's not what sent me down the rabbit hole. What changed everything was the next two use cases. But first here, let me show you what I mean by image to video. Let's check this out. All right, so really quick, a little bit of background information here. So Dreamina is actually ByteDance's in-house AI product. So both Dreamina Seedance 2.0 and TikTok belong to the same parent company and ecosystem as the Dreamina team. And Dreamina Seedance 2.0 has held the #1 spot across all 3 LM Arena video rankings for a while now. So even with new models constantly releasing, Seedance 2.0 continues to maintain a pretty strong lead overall. And another thing worth mentioning is that when using Seedance 2.0 directly on the Dreamina platform, there's no queue system. So users can jump in and start testing things pretty quickly. Now let's talk about the difference between Dreamina Seedance 2.0 and Dreamina Seedance 2.0 Fast. Dreamina Seedance 2.0 is the higher quality model and delivers significantly better overall results. The fast version is optimized more for speed and lower credit usage. It generates quicker and consumes fewer credits. And thank you to Dreamina for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the walkthrough. All right, so here we are in the Dreamina platform, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do the image to video workflow. The first one is that we're gonna definitely have Dreamina Seedance 2.0 selected, and there's a couple of different options here. The first one is the traditional way, which is using first and last frames, but for this, we're just gonna be using first frame. And I've got the aspect ratio chosen right there, and the resolution chosen here, and we're all set to go. So for the image to video technique, you would take your image and then you can just drag it to where it goes. And then I had ChatGPT go ahead and make this prompt for me based on the first image. And then you select a duration. Let's do an 8-second video here. And then you hit generate. Now, while that's going, let me show you the second technique. The second technique is using Omni Reference. And with Omni Reference, you have that same image right there as one of your references. And then you would say, use the, and then you tag the image, and then you say as the starting frame, and then you do your prompt, and we're good to go. and then I would hit generate. But since I already generated it the other way, I'm not going to do it twice. All right, so that's pretty straightforward, right? Now let's talk about what I said about the next two use cases that really changed everything. It threw me for a loop. But first, let me give you a little background into how this whole thing started. So I'm constantly working on one of my projects in the background called The Life of the Lazy Mon. And there's this montage scene that I've been working on with surfing, playing music, late nights, all that kind of stuff. You know, partying, just being young and having fun, just what we were doing at the time. Now, whenever I'm building out montages, I like to use music early on in the process. It helps me with the pacing, emotion, energy, all those kind of things. So I already had made a song in Suno, and I had thought, what if I could bring this scene to life using the actual track as the creative reference? And I've done that before, but not actually feeding the track into the video model. And that's when everything changed. See, I had heard people mention lip syncing using Seedance 2.0, but I had just assumed that they meant kind of text to speech, prompting to speech, just by typing in dialogue and the character says whatever you type in. No, what I found was way more interesting. So if you take your song and cut it into clips under 15 seconds and then export those clips as video instead of just the audio track, and then you use that as a reference, the model follows this as a lip sync model, and it follows it pretty tightly. And honestly, that was the breakthrough that sent me down this rabbit hole. Maybe everybody's already known about this and I'm late to the game, but when I found it out, I was like, wait a minute, what does this mean? So let me show you really quick so you can see exactly how this was done and what I was talking about. I went into the Dreamina platform and I clicked AI video, and then I clicked Omni Reference, and then Dreamina Seedance 2.0. And for this, I used the regular model and not the fast model, just because I wanted to see how good it could get. And then I uploaded my character references, location, image, song clip as a video though, and then I entered the prompt and hit generate. So let's look over one of the prompts. It was pretty straightforward. For one of them, I did like, these two characters sit on the beach at sunset, the girls are nearby or something like that. You can look at it right here. But the important part was I just tagged both the character post sheets, the beach is the reference image, and then the song clip exported as a video. And as you can see, the prompt was very simple. And honestly, I didn't think it would work. But then I hit generate, and it kind of blew my mind. So the result, the lip sync was dead on. The cuts felt like a basic music video. Like the characters stayed pretty consistent based on their post sheets. And then suddenly I realized this wasn't just a test anymore. This was a potential workflow. So then naturally, I do what I do and I went deeper. So I had tested out that and I was really surprised by that, and I saw the potential in that. But the other thing that I had heard about that I wanted to test out was story progression. Like, how do I keep the story consistent from clip to clip without using the normal techniques that I've always used, which is I take a screenshot of the final frame or whatever frame I want to continue, I feed that in as the starting frame, and I go from there. But for this, I went ahead and tried something different. All right, so let's look at this. I went ahead and I stayed inside of AI video using Omni Reference, and then again selected Dreamina Seedance 2.0. That's what I stayed in with this whole experiment. And then I uploaded the previously generated clip as a video reference. And then I added my character references again, then prompted the next scene continuation and hit generate. Because with this, I didn't want just one cool clip. I wanted scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. And when I used this technique combined with the references, it actually did a really good job of continuing the scene. So after this testing, it really opened my mind up to what this means. Because some of these use cases I wasn't aware of before diving in. Music videos with accurate lip sync, character singing performances, continuation of scenes using video, story chaining, montage creation, just all these things that you can do with Omni Reference is pretty amazing. And once you start just combining all of these things together, the possibilities are pretty endless. And we're just scratching the surface here. Now, is this whole thing perfect? No. Will you get weird outputs? You're always going to get weird outputs. But it's a lot more consistent than it had been in the past. And the level of quality that you're getting with 1 or 2 generations versus trying something 5 or 10 times is pretty impressive. You'll still need retries. You'll need to splice stuff together with your editing. But the potential here is really real. And honestly, after finding out these new techniques and these new ways of using Omni Reference, this whole thing is much bigger than I thought. And I can't wait to dive in even deeper. So that's how I accidentally made a music video using Dreamina Seedance 2.0. So if you found any value in this video, please go ahead and subscribe. That really helps me out. And if you want to test Dreamina for yourself, check out the link below and try the free credits available now. And thank you to Dreamina for giving me some credits to play around with Seedance 2.0 on their platform. It's very helpful. I appreciate the support, and hey, we'll catch you in the next one.